Thank you everyone for joining in. So air pollution is now becoming one of the India's biggest health and environmental challenges, a severe health emergency common across all the Indian states. We launched the information campaign last year, Smog Tales, where we spotlighted six rapidly growing cities in North India. We examined air quality in Patna, Guwahati, Baddi, Chandigarh, Meerut through webinars, discussions with experts, putting out our analysis and engaging with local media. We welcome you all in the episode 3 of season 2, where we are taking this solution driven dialogue to Maharashtra's emerging urban centers. We started off with Thane, Amravati, and today we are spotlighting Nagpur. I'm Shweta, and on behalf of iFOREST, I welcome our esteemed panelists and all the participants to today's webinar. We are honored to have with us Srimati Dhanashri Patil, Regional Officer MPCB, Shri Bhagwant Kesbhat, Founder and CEO Vatavaran, Shri and Sarfaraz Ahmed, Senior Journalist Times of India, will be joining us shortly. Now I request my colleague, Dr. Pratima, Director Air Pollution iFOREST, to present her findings about Nagpur. She will then go on to moderate the session and hold the discussion with our panel experts. After which we will open the floor for questions. So feel free to drop in your questions. Over to you, Pratima.
Thank you, Shweta. I welcome Bhagwanji and Dhanashri ma'am. Ma'am, can we have your camera?
Yes, thank you so much, Pratima, for invitation and super excited to contribute in
Right.
yeah.
Welcome.
And congratulations for taking this initiative.
Right.
That,
Thank you for joining, Dhanashri ma'am. Sharfraz ji from Times of India will join us shortly. So this Smog Tales focusing on Nagpur is basically an initiative towards creating awareness among citizen groups. We always talk about bigger cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, but we don't focus on smaller cities, tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which are also facing a lot of air pollution challenges. So today, focusing on Nagpur, I'll just share my slides. Let me know if you're able to see it.
yes, Pratima, we can see the slides.
Okay, great, perfect. So, Smog Tales focusing on Nagpur, I'll just present the findings. So, what does pollution look like in Nagpur? You know, we might not be able to see the pollution, but in pictures, this is how it is captured: waste burning, industries, transportation. Today's AQI level was found to be 166, which is really unhealthy and which is similar to what Mumbai is facing. So, it's not that smaller cities are cleaner, they are equally polluted as the bigger cities. Now, the study area is Nagpur city area, not the entire district. Currently, there are four continuous air quality monitoring stations in the Nagpur city at Mahal, GPO Civil Lines, Ramnagar, and Ambazari. So, looking at the city demographics, the population is around 35 lakhs and it's 218 square kilometer, the city area. Currently, there are seven manual stations and four continuous air quality monitoring stations. However, according to CPCB's thumb rule, Nagpur needs one more continuous air quality monitoring station. Manual stations are more than sufficient. However, if we look at this map, what do you see? You know, it's very interesting that there are four stations and three stations are towards the western side of the city, one towards the eastern part. So the entire northern side and the southern part have no monitoring as such in terms of continuous air quality monitoring station. So there's a huge gap in understanding. And as we can see there, you know, in Nagpur, there are four national highways passing. So it becomes very important to understand what is happening in the different parts of the city. Moving ahead, I just want to elaborate on the data approach and the analysis. We collected data from continuous air quality monitoring stations. 3-year data was considered 2023, 24, 25. If the data was less than 60%, we have not included that data in our analysis. If it's more, only then it has been part of the. We have used various tools like Tableau, Power BI, and QGIS to assess the data and visualization. Looking at the 4 continuous air quality monitoring stations, we have looked at the annual PM 2.5 and PM 10 levels. If you look Ambazari data, it is higher than compared to the other 3 stations. However, very interesting thing is Ramnagar also has a high level PM 2.5 and PM 10 data, but for 2024, 3-month data is not available for Ramnagar, and hence probably the data is high. That's why I have highlighted it in different color, that it shows high data, but that's not the case. It's not, the data is not available, hence the values are higher. I'm sure the average will go down, but Ambazari definitely is the highest polluting station. Though we can see that there is a lake nearby, but we don't know what is happening around this landscape, that it is the highest polluting station. If we look at the individual stations, then PM10, PM2.5, SOx, NOx, if you look at these pollutants, PM10 definitely is above the national ambient air quality standards by almost a factor of 1.6, and PM2.5 is higher by a factor of 1.2. SOx, NOx are well within the standards. They are, within the limits. If we look at the seasonal variation and only considering PM10, winter definitely is higher compared to summer and monsoon for all the stations. We were only able to compare a trend of last 3 years for GPO civil lines, because this is the only station where data for all the 3 years was good quality, and hence we can see that 2024 there was definitely 2023 there was definitely increase in the pollution levels, but in 2024 there is a decrease in the pollution levels for all the pollutants. Apart from SOx, there is a slight increase that we can see. So probably there is a contribution coming from the industries, that is what we can assume. Apart from that, PM10, 2.5 and NOx have decreased at GPO civil lines. If we look at the winter season comparison, now we have considered Jan and Feb because November, December data for 2025 was not available. And we can clearly see that in 24 and 25, the value of PM 2.5 and 10 at 3 stations have increased. However, at the Mahal station, it has decreased PM 2.5 by 7% and PM10 slightly by 2%. It's very minor. So it definitely, the values are increasing. If we get the data for the last 3 months of 2025, we will have a better clarity whether compared to 2024, the annual average has increased or decreased. But I don't see a very positive response going from this slide. If we look at the seasonal variation right from January to December for all the 4 stations, we clearly see that PM 2.5 and PM10 that increase during the November months and the January months. And there's a sharp increase like 42, 70%, 75% increase in all the stations that we have here. You can clearly see that in the Ramnagar station, there is no data available for 3 months, and hence there is a gap. We actually wanted to show this graph, which indicates that we definitely need to work towards good quality data and transparency in data. If we look at the pollutant-wise seasonal variation, we clearly see again the trend, like in winters, the values, the concentrations are really high. The average value was around 134 microgram per meter cube for PM10 and around 72 for PM2.5. Now, during the monsoon season, you can see that there is a dip in all the all the pollutant. Around 56% dip was found in PM 2.5 values. However, winter season 34% increase was observed from the annual average values. If we look at the hourly trends, now this is a very interesting map because usually there is a huge peak in the morning season and during the evening time. But here for the Nagpur, we don't see a huge morning peak, but around 11 to 12 in the afternoon, there is a slight peak in both PM 2.5 and 10. However, during the late evening time for both PM 2.5 and 10, there is a huge spike. Now, we don't know whether this huge spike is due to increase in the vehicular movement, specifically the heavy vehicles, or a lot of movement on the national highways, or construction activities happening during the night time. That we will have to check from the ground activities, but it's a huge spike at the night time. We also looked at the source apportionment study and the emission inventory study carried out by IIT Bombay. And we can see that fossil fuel consumption is contributing hugely to PM10, and construction dust, biomass burning, wood burning is contributing hugely to PM 2.5. So this is something that we definitely need to focus on and shift our objective from only transportation sector to other sectors as well, because they are contributing hugely. And this is a recent study of 2022. We also try to look at the mitigation options that are available for the Nagpur cleaner action plans. And we analyzed it, we compared it with the SMART framework, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time bound, whether this action plan is robust enough to be implemented and show some decrease in the pollution levels. What we saw is like 25 out of 64 control measures are focused on transportation, which is almost like 39-40%. And then 13 control measures are focused on industries, which is like another 20%. So around 50-60% is only focused on transportation and industries. Resuspension dust is around 7 control measures, 11%. When we looked at the SMART framework, what exists on ground, when we compared it, we found that only 9 control measures follow the SMART framework guidelines. Apart from that, 49 control measures do not follow the SMART framework guidelines. So we don't know whether they will be implemented in a time-bound manner, whether they are achievable, whether we will be able to measure the emission reduction. So definitely we need to plan our control measures, identify them, and develop the implementation strategy in a way that they are more implementable. So the key highlights from these studies are there needs to be a better coverage of the monitoring stations, because we clearly saw western side there are 3 stations, eastern side there is 1 station, north and south they are empty currently. Also, the data availability for the continuous air quality monitoring stations is only available from 2023, and in that also there is gap in few of the years. So hence a trend assessment and analysis was not possible. Pollution levels, we clearly saw that PM10 is above the national ambient air quality standards for all the stations. And PM 2.5 is also slightly above the national ambient air quality standards. In winter season, there is a huge spike in both PM 2.5 and PM10 levels. And definitely monsoon season has seen decrease in the concentration levels. 14% of the control measures, that is only 9 control measures out of 64, abide to the SMART framework. Rest, they are all weak. So we need to sit and understand how do we prepare our cleaner strategies in a way that they are more realistic and implementable. Also work with various departments in coordination, so that the nexus of working with various departments is there. So yes, I will stop sharing, and I'll focus on. Do we have Bhagwan Keshwatji with us? Okay, great.
Yes, yes, Pratima, I am here.
Okay, perfect. I guess we will need to we'll start with the panel discussion. I'll start with Dhanashri ma'am. Ma'am, as you saw in the slides, there is definitely data gap in few of the stations, and only GPO civil line station is the one where data for all the 3 years is available and good quality data. However, for Mahal, Ramnagar, and the other station, there's gaps. So how do we, streamline the data part so that there is transparency and also the reliability factor in the data part, and which also builds confidence among the citizens when they look at the data part. So how do we improve on that?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah, am I audible?
yes.
Yes. Hi, Pratima. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me on this forum. Uh, I'll address your issues first. Regarding the data part, I'll like to ask from where have you faced it? Like whether from the websites or from directly from the systems.
So this is from continuous air quality monitoring station data from
Right.
PCB only.
From where? From the
Pollution
stations?
control board. No, from
From
the
the pollution
pollution
control
control board
board.
website.
Okay, okay. So the for that thing I'll look into, like why it should have been updated. But I'll look into it, like what hurdles were there.
Right,
Because there might be some connectivity issues or something like that.
right.
Second part, your slides highlighted that most like the continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations, that network of continuous ambient air quality monitoring is not in all the parts of the Nagpur. So there's one positive step, like we are planning for us a continuous ambient air quality monitoring station in the northern part of Nagpur.
Wonderful.
That is into process as of now. It is under, like we are getting NOCs and everything for that. Then the that thing MPCB is going to fund. Then I have some tentative questions which you have shared. So I'd like to highlight on that also.
Mhm.
Now, first of all, like what most effective regulatory actions MPCB is leading under city action plan. So now, if you look at Nagpur, most of the industrial area is outside, is in the like periphery of the Nagpur. Like
Right.
city, mostly there are no major air polluting industries. There are
Mhm.
industries, but they are not major air polluting industries. So what we have done is like whichever, and also second thing I'd like to highlight that there are some construction activities continuously going on in the cities, like metro constructions are there, then building constructions are there. So we have strengthened the norms which for air pollution, like we have granted the consents to these industries with some certain strict norms, like they have to provide wet green net during the construction activity. The RMC plants which are there, they should be completely covered like with a box type structures. Then even for power plants, they are like near about 10 in 10-kilometer radius. So for the power plants, we have implement like we have made them compulsory to install FGDs, like flue gas desulfurization,
Okay.
that reduces the SO2 concentration.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, second thing, this is regarding industries. Then second thing, we are in continuously touch with the local bodies, and wherever we like notice the spikes in the air quality index, we immediately communicate to the local bodies to implement the GRAP, that is Graded Response Action Plan, which is there in place to reduce the air pollution. Then also we have time to time given them the directions for using cleaner fuels, subsidizing the fuels. Even we are ready to fund or assist them in implementing the fuel shifts. Then again we carry out awareness sessions also regularly. Now You want me to address all the issues which are
I'll,
there?
I'll, I'll come back to you on those
Okay, fine.
issues. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And now let me go back to Bhagwanji. Now we heard from Dhanashri ma'am that there's a lot of activities happening, and Grab was also implemented when the pollution level goes high, and there's initiative on for the industry to shift to the cleaner fuel. Now, Bhagwanji, you working very closely on ground with communities, and what are your observations? What is the awareness level among the citizens? How compliant are the industries, specifically focusing on the small scale industries? What is happening on ground? If you could highlight, please.
So, if we compare the state, all the 19 cities in the state of Maharashtra, and I can say that Nagpur is one of the cities who has been the center of attention, including the union ministries, and also as a state leadership, also comes from the Nagpur as well. So,
Right.
we have seen like there are like I can see in the last like more than 20 years, the city's development and the city is been progress in terms of like infrastructures. And so because of metros and a lot of the infrastructure on the roads has been done, and since it has been agenda from the the earlier commissioners as well. So, but still, if we see the challenges, and like I do remember, and I wanted to also highlight, we did with MPCB and NERI's series of conversation on the 2020s before the lockdowns, and understanding what are the different factors. And that time also, like these four monitors which were there, and still I was surprised that still it has not moved in terms of the development of the
But,
grid.
but as ma'am said, we are getting one more station in the northern region, so that's a positive thing.
Yeah, yeah, and even like mayor and the MLAs who have been also been active in the conversation that we had, including Pravinji and Vikas Thakre's, and also having the conversation with other leaders as well. So what I see that personally, Nagpur has been also been including infrastructures and constructions is been like a major hotspot of the happening every days, and that becomes like a big challenge. How can we address in the coming time? So, and also been like other small scale industries are also been evolving. And I didn't get, ma'am, clearly whether the FGD has been installed already or it is going to be installed.
It is going to be installed. It's in process.
Yeah, so like Koradi has been like a big concern, Koradi and Khaparkeda, and also been
Yes.
ordinary factories. So that's the reason, like though city centers are not been that much industrialized, but the peripheries and the fringes, it's much more industrialized. The concentrations are there, and that becomes also been impacting on the air quality of the city of Nagpur, and it's impacting on the citizens' health as well. So I think these are the, I mean, and as you rightly initially highlighted, Pratima, ki, because national highways and plus Samruddhis, so this also getting impacted. And compared to like Bombay and other cities, if we see that the electric vehicles, e-autos, that movements we are seeing as, and that's the positive steps I can see in the city of Nagpur. But
Okay.
we can see that that need to be happen very ambitious scale, and some
Mhm.
maybe the some support systems from the possibly from the urban local bodies, and also state agencies should be there. So then and then only we can see the change in the scenarios of the city of Nagpur. But as of now, it's still transportations has been like a big concern for the emission point of view, I can say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hence, 39% of the action focused on transportation.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. Okay, let me come back to you, Dhanashree ma'am. Ma'am, I want to understand from you that we looked at the cleaner action plan of Nagpur, and when we compared it with the smart framework, we saw that only 9%, nine of the control measures are abiding to the smart framework. Rest, they are really weak in terms of achievable, relatable, time bound, or realistic. So, how do we improve on that? Uh, Pollution Control Board being a regulatory authority, it has to coordinate with a lot of departments, and municipal corporation also needs to support in developing the cleaner action plan. However, we have seen that the municipal corporation officials, they need capacity building in terms of understanding the scientific aspect of developing the clean air plans. So what steps is pollution control board taking to ensure that whatever action plans, the revision that will happen, they are all implementable, and quickly we can see some reduction in the pollution level. So what are the steps taken currently?
Yes. Pratima, I would like to highlight like that there is like gap in implementation and whatever plan, and there is that is the fact that it is not aligned. But
Okay.
there are n number of different factors which
Mhm.
are contributing to that. First of all, what we are trying to do is we are trying to share the data real time. So
Okay.
immediately, like the response which is there towards the increasing pollution over that has been communicated immediately to the local bodies. Then
Mhm.
we are second thing which I introduced to you is the grab thing. That grab also we are communicating. So we ask them to immediately implement those action points.
Mhm.
Then thirdly, we are like trying to have joint visits
Mhm.
with the local bodies or with the other departments which are concerned, so that we can work cordially
Mhm.
and implement the things in place, and we can get a better results.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I just have a follow-up question. When you say that GRAP implementation is also carried out, how do you monitor whether the items listed under GRAP, they are actually, being carried out on ground or not?
See, first of all, visual thing is like we see a reduction in air quality index immediately. So that thing is there, like the graph has been implemented.
Okay.
Then second thing is like we check on the like whatever action plans we have given. We keep on following up with the concerns. So we get
Mhm.
a response out of that. That is the second thing. And third thing is we check on the pollution levels for some week or 4 to 5 days prior, and after that we study that also. So that can be
Right. Okay. Pre and post
pre
monitoring.
and post. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Okay, Bhagwanji, tell me, like I asked you this earlier also, what is the awareness level of the citizens of Nagpur, Are they, when this GRAP is implemented, do these various colonies, societies, RWS, are they also aware that the GRAP has been implemented? How does it work? What is the ground level scenario?
So, if we see that this is like a few weeks back, I was having had the meeting with Honorable Abhijit Chaudhary, the Commissioner of Nagpur as well. So then definitely all this in terms of like the waste management, the agencies were been placed, and he was saying that there is not any extended support required, or we were also been coming forward that. But what the observation I saw from the iFOREST analysis was that very clearly it came that there is a sharp increase in the PM 2.5, and
Yeah.
that becomes like a big concern for if we see that like sharp increase in the like say city of Mumbai, it shows the PM10, and whereas Nagpur is showing, so it comes very clearly vehicle and industrial combustion at the burning activities which are being the open burnings, and that's something which shows that there is a clear-cut absence of among the citizens in terms of awareness. And how can we have that the in terms of through the campaigns and the education in terms of through school, colleges, and also as a city itself, as a citizens. Like if we see that, like the citizens welfare associations, and how can we engage them? So that something is being completely need to be put the major attention,
Right.
and that something should be the focus I can say in the coming
Right,
time.
right,
I
right.
can say, right?
But as Dhanashree ma'am said that, there are awareness activities also being carried out by the pollution control board. If you could just, ma'am, highlight what are the kind of activities on awareness being carried out currently?
Hello.
Yes, can hear
Yeah.
you.
So awareness is like we post we give presentations in the schools,
Mm-hmm.
or even during this environment day and everything. We
Mm-hmm.
have special activities for awareing the local public, the industries regarding the pollution and its effect on the human health and all.
Okay.
Then even we have radio jingles and all regarding air pollution control systems and all.
Right, right, right.
So
So,
Pratibha, and what I wanted to highlight, like Dr. Sachin Arbert and Dr. Samir Arbert, who has been like since been very active in the promoting the health impacts of and the awareness. And I do remember like National Cancer Institute, Dr. Manas Ranjan Ray, we had some consultations in the cities with all the citizen stakeholders. So
mhm,
how can we that possibly creating the IC materials in terms of very creative way? And
mhm,
like I was talking with the children and talking with the people where they were saying that during the firecrackers they were finding enjoy, and that's of course can come at that, but it's not just like limited to the MAM or MCG, the urban local bodies, but how can we work very seriously in terms of what could be the creative ways for the engagement, be it like radio FM channels and social media channels and others form of like in the audio visuals forms which can reach out to the how it's creating the severe impact on the health. That's something we need to work collectively together. It's not been fixing
right.
like blaming to the MPCB or the
No,
urban
no,
local.
definitely. I agree with you that we need to be more creative to engage with the citizens and specifically focusing on the school children because they are someone who go back to their house, family, home, and they also talk to their parents and probably they educate the parents and the neighborhood. So they are the best, mode who can disseminate the information in a quicker and an effective manner. So something focused on school kids, colleges, we will have to create definitely. I agree on that part. Yeah, yeah. Dhanashree ma'am, I understand, that whenever pollution rises, pollution control board gets pointed that they are not doing or the data is not there. But I would want to understand from you what are the challenges the pollution control board faces in terms of regulatory and the compliance aspects, specifically when it comes to small scale industries. What is happening on that sector?
First of all, I'd like to highlight a very particular issue. Like
Mhm.
there is a crunch in manpower resources.
Right,
So the amount of network which is to be monitored day by day, it is increasing.
right.
But whereas the manpower which is there, that is not increasing at the same rate. So
Very
that is
important
one
point.
challenge.
Yeah.
Then, as far as other things are like for each department, if you consider, there are core activities been allotted to each department. So once when they are performing their core activities to focus on other extracurricular activities like which we say like awareness or mitigating air pollution and everything. So it becomes difficult for other to coordinate with other departments and involve them in this activity. So that is another challenge. Then third is for industrial. There are sometimes it becomes that installing pollution control systems are
Mhm.
not viable for a very small scale industry.
Mhm.
So that is also another challenge.
Hmm.
Then, as of now, I think that these are the challenges which we need to
Okay.
like, concentrate on.
Okay. Just for understanding purpose, now there might be a lot of small scale industries which might not be registered with the pollution control board. or the Department of Industries, and they would be functioning using dirty fuel. Now, when these emission inventory studies are developed, because the data is not there, there is no understanding on how many such type of industries are operating, what type of fuel they are using. They don't get accounted in our studies, scientific assessment, and hence there is always a lack in the strategies that we develop, on the plans that we are developing. So is there any mechanism like ground truthing activity that is being carried out, let's say by pollution control board or municipal corporation, to just have a baseline understanding of how the city is performing or growing or what is happening?
Yes, recently I'd like to highlight that we were into, it's not connected to this, but it was some other activity. Like we were like planning to have an integrated recycling plant in the city of Nagpur.
Right.
So we had it was a cordial activity between corporation and between NPCB. So when we had a discussion, so that was the issue, that formalizing the informal sector is one of the major challenge. And what we are trying to do is, like, we had a discussion with local bodies, and we told them that whenever they come across this informal sectors, they can inform us, and they we can accordingly initiate action and bring that informal sector into formalized one. So that was one thing. Then second thing, we keep on interacting with MIDC or with other department which are dish, which are there related to industries. We get on data from them, and we check it with our data whether those industries are registered with us or not, and accordingly we initiate actions, or we inform them to get registered with us, so that that thing, like, they get registered with us, and we can like bring them in under our purview.
Wonderful. No, these are very good and good initiatives carried out. I see that we have Ved Gulgudeji joining from Times of India with us. Vedji, could you please switch on your camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Hello. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, yes, you're audible and visible. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Thank you.
Sorry you're late, but I'll just brief you that we are discussing on how Nagpur is performing in terms of data gathering, coverage of the monitoring stations, initiatives taken by the Pollution Control Board. I'll just come back to you. I have a question for Bhagwanji. Bhagwanji, I want to understand that you mentioned that there's a lot of solid waste burning happening in the city, a lot of construction, because construction development is rampant in the city. So can you tell me what are the initiatives that you have observed in terms of regulatory steps taken by the builders, and how the citizens engage themselves in burning solid waste or dumping solid waste in the city?
So, Pratima, how can we take this conversation or agenda at what level? That's something I feel very, very critical in terms of.
Correct.
So, for that, the as a urban local body, as a nodal agency, as a commissioner, along with the I mean, like a responsible, accountable, and like that ratio formula. So, accountable is the as a the NMCs along with the MPCB. So how can we have that the proper guidelines as construction demolition and waste guidelines 2016 which are there. Then
Mhm.
again it has been also been circulated again. So how can we take that in a very systematic way? Let us say like a 10 construction site, which let us say how they have been following in terms of cleaning the truck tires, spraying the waters, input
Mm.
to the what kind of the like 30 plus feet the I mean
Green cover.
the green covers which need to be there. Of course, it is not going to solve the problems at
Right.
all because we have been seeing the challenges after that as well. But still, there need to be some stricture measure within the radius of the construction hotspot, and which have been increasing day by day. And sometimes when we are talking with the neighborhood people, they don't know. Suppose, let us say the bricks or maybe sands or others materials are been laying nearby road, and that becomes people have been going and coming, but they are not aware ki what's their role to communicate to the as a NMC ward office level or something, which as a corresponding role of the communities which has been also missing there. So once the welfare associations and others knows what the role they need to take with the ward officials. And ward
Then
office also has the clear-cut directions and the guidelines in the place as a kind of squad at the ward level, which can take the immediate actions on the this construction site or the open fire happening. So like maybe like because of WhatsApp, chatbots, many things are been coming up. So can we, as a I am citizens, be it in Ambazari or be it in the Ramnagar, if I see the any offer fire happening, can I take just simple photo and with the lat long or can I send it to the so will it happen? It's simply
right,
way in terms of reporting back to the MCGM or NPCP in a
correct.
nodal office. So this can be the simplest way we can make more like a vigilant the citizens as well as the local administrations as well.
Right, definitely. So now I'll
Pratima,
yeah,
yes, I would like to add one more thing which Sir said.
definitely.
Sir, absolutely, his concern was exactly right. And I would also like to add that one should start from oneself. Like, as long as we take that oath, this improving this situation will become very difficult. So that's what I feel.
No, no, and any activity needs to start at the household level,
Yes,
and then
yes,
only we will be able to scale it up in the city.
exactly.
Correct, correct. Let me come to you, Veggie. Now we are talking about a lot of initiatives that are already going on in the city in terms of clean technology for the industries, increasing the monitoring stations. However, Bhagwanji just mentioned that we need to have a clear guidelines. We need to have a ward level monitoring mechanism, some squad who can go and visit what is happening. What are your observation on ground when it comes to waste burning or construction or transportation activities? Can you, if you could, elaborate on that?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on the panel. And I think I would agree to the discussion that I was going on. I was a part of it for a very small period. But I think awareness on the urban level is, I believe, is quite important. So,
Right.
if we ask, is administration working? Yes, definitely they're working. If we ask that, is there any scope of improvement? Definitely there is. I don't think perfection is something that we can achieve. It's a journey. It cannot be achieved in one day. And in a tier two city like Nagpur, which is developing rapidly, I
Mm,
mean, if you just go to Besa Pipra, and since the elections were going on, we were all wandering across. And once, which was a Gram Panchayat today, it is called as the new Nagpur. So in a city like Nagpur, where we have political biggies, where the infrastructural development is going on at such a great pace, the administration, I believe, also has some restrictions, yet they're trying their best. I think what is essential is, that the awareness that we have with oneself. Like, for example, whenever we're wandering in areas like Paidi or even Mahal for that matter, the central Nagpur, the East Nagpur, many of the times where there are market areas, there are market yard. So people, instead of composing the garbage or segregating it in a proper, in a neat manner as recommended by administration or as it is essential, they are just burning it. Now, it
mm,
might sound very small or local level issue, but it does contribute to the air pollution when we are talking about an entire city of over 50 lakhs. So
correct.
I believe urban, what we can say, urban awareness in the public, considering the city as your very own, that is very essential. Again, it might sound very a kindergarten code that has been using since years, but let me clarify, that it is one of the most important things which is needed. I think in addition to that, the work that has been going on, as I just said, that the infrastructural work or the dust that we have across because of the construction works are going on, I think that also contributes to it. And again, as Bhagwanji rightly pointed out, I think increasing the man force from the administration point of view as well, because people, what they demand is they need whatever easy approach, they need that easy approach. If, let's say, for example, if I'm seeing uh, there is a ground where some burning or some kind of garbage disposal thing is going on there. So what I need is, as a resident, if I have to inform that to administration, I'll try and see what is the easiest way to reach there. If I have to click that photo, then I have to send it to someone else. Then that person will ask, no, sir, wo wale department ke paas hai. Then we have to say, ki nahi, wahan pe hota hai. So what happens? The resident gets a bit discouraged. So, they feel like, so it's not the point that the resident are not aware or the administration is not working. Both are right on their own level.
Yeah.
But the easy approach between the gap, which exists between administration and the residents. So if that is, how we can say, if we make that approach easier for them, I believe, such more complaints will be received to them. More squad will be, of course, essential, and I think more work can be done in an easy manner. This is what I believe is essential.
No, I completely agree with you. You know, as researchers, we always say that we need to communicate in a layman's language in a simpler fashion so that the science can reach out to the citizens. Same way, probably the communication activities also need to be developed in a way that the citizens understand clearly. I also want to talk about one more topic that in the emission inventory carried out by IIT Bombay, fossil fuels, burning of fossil fuels and biomass comes out to be one of the greater source of pollution. So is there still, like, LPG penetration has happened really, well after the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, but we find that people still use wood and biomass for heating and cooking purposes. So is there still a trend in or practice in Nagpur city?
Uh, I think that it still exists. I wouldn't say that, despite the schemes and the things which are implemented, I don't think 100% it has been eradicated from the system.
Mhm.
But I think, again, I might sound repetitive, but it comes down and it boils down to the one point that the awareness from oneself, is what is quite essential. Administration cannot reach, or the government cannot reach to each and every home. So even as a media person, I believe it's a responsibility not to just point out where the administration is going on, or where to point out, where the public spaces or the public are going wrong. But I believe it's also a responsibility to let them know about the schemes which are not just beneficial for an individual or a citizen, but also for the greater good of a nation or the society. So
Right.
I think, again, awareness plays a key role here. And but I mean, we are a population of 1.5 billion. And as far as Nagpur is concerned, we are a population of over 50 lakhs. And even if you consider the rural belts, I approximately, as far as the voter list that I'm considering, I think more than half of the population is still residing in the rural belts. Of course, 55% population is there in rural belts. So, reaching out to those people, making them aware of the fact, the first question, whenever we go there, we talk to them. And so the first question comes to during the conversation is that what is the benefit of that to me? So I'll have to first apply to that particular scheme, then I'll get the benefit, and then it will take tens of days, 20 of days. It becomes easier to try and teach or just make aware and urban population. But when it comes to rural, I believe because of the education literacy, and there are various factors contributing to it, it becomes a bit difficult. So I think if you are able to, as I think in a lot of political speeches, कि ये बात कही जाती है कि गांव से विकास होना चाहिए.
Correct.
And I think it is indeed true because urban population have social media. I mean, as of now, everyone does, but urban population is much more aware because they're watching the news, they're reading newspapers. Like, for example, if you're talking about English newspapers who are well versed about the national or the international geopolitical situations, all such kind of schemes are getting published, just for the sake of people so that they get aware. But the question is, क्या रामटेक के किसी गांव में टीवाई या हितों पढ़ा जाता है? The point, because it is also one of the important things. We have social media, we have newspapers, but again, is it reaching the right audience? Even if it's reaching the right audience, are they reading it? Even if they're reading it, are they understanding it? No.
Right.
So even though the schemes are there, I believe spreading as much awareness as possible to the last person, and not just letting them know कि it will be beneficial for you in terms of like economically beneficial होगा या किसी और तरह से. I think they should also try and understand to the fact that it is also good, for the betterment of a greater good, not just for that one particular person or the area or the taluka that he or she is living. So
Correct.
I believe, yeah, to put it in a nutshell, yes, it still exists. The pattern, the trend is still there, and I think we have a long way to go to
Long way,
eradicate it completely.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. Dhanashri ma'am, Mr. Ved mentioned a very, very interesting line that Vikas gaon se hota hai. But when it comes to monitoring, all our monitoring stations are focused in the urban areas. We don't do any monitoring in the suburban or the rural area. And we clearly know that, in suburban and the rural areas, there's a lot of biomass is being used for cooking and heating, or also the agricultural waste that is being burned. So, what should be the future steps that the pollution control board should be pushing, specifically when it comes to monitoring? Now, the reference grade monitors are really costly, and installing them will be a challenge. So, is there any mechanism for monitoring that we can adopt?
Yes, actually, that monitoring is in place. We have like we have as we have continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations, which are stationary. We have a mobile continuous ambient air quality monitoring van, which
Okay.
we do send to different places, and we carry out the ambient air quality monitoring regularly.
Okay. And
So it
how
is
many villages do you cover in that?
it's like it's not like how many villages we do cover. We have a plan, monthly plan, and
Okay.
we do carry out ambient air quality monitoring as per the plan.
Okay.
So it depends, like if there is some complaint issue or if there is some industrial ambient air quality monitoring to be done, we uh, do it by that mobile van.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So only if there is any episode or a challenge or complaint, then these mobile vans are sent
It's
out.
not only that, but we do carry out like when it is not there, like the mobile van is doesn't have any schedule. So we
Mhm.
do carry out monitoring in municipal councils or in gram panchayats or nagar panchayats also.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Dhanashree ma'am, my last question for you would be like, what is the best control measure that Nagpur needs right now? It could be for any sector based on your understanding.
It's like, see, what I see is major like contributing factors are this vehicular pollution and the
Mhm.
construction sites. So
Okay.
they need to maintain, or they need to implement the air pollution control measures which
Mhm.
are there in place, and they need to operate them regularly. That is the
Just a
thing.
follow-up question on that. When you say construction is happening a lot and we need to control that, do we have a dust mitigation plan for Nagpur?
Dust mitigation plan, yes. In fact, I told you, like we have, wherever the construction sites are there, we have made some stringent norms, like they have to cover the complete construction site with green nets and all. So that
Mm-hmm.
has been there. Fogging needs to be carried out, mist fogging and all. Sprinkling shall be carried out.
Hmm.
That's,
Interesting.
yeah.
And do we also issue the notices or maybe the
Yes,
strict,
yes, we do.
the suspension of
Penalties or
the
legal binding on contractors, site engineers, developers, anything like that. Yeah.
Yes, we do issue.
and how many such notices or maybe the show cause notice has been showcased like stop this construction like that.
So we don't stop any activity, but we do in like issue notices to control that pollution. That is the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Bhagwanji, I would want to ask you
Because stopping is not our solution. We want progress with controlled pollution. That is our major motto.
correct, correct, correct.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
Bhagwanji, we have definitely talked about that. A lot of awareness needs to be done, and IC materials need to be developed in a creative manner so that the kids and the students can be engaged. But do you also feel that the manufacturers and the industries also need to be part of these awareness programs so that when it comes from those who are polluting, it might create more impact?
Definitely, like all these Vidarbha industrial associations which are already there, and how can we have the regular in terms of concurrent meeting with them, and also like red category industries and all these same data which need to be like at the high alert level, especially in the winter season, need to be monitored and time to time. How can they get also in confidence in terms of taking
Right.
the immediate measures? Like ma'am has already suggested that FGD installation in terms of like TPP like has been already been initiated in the coming time. But in other sectors, like let us say, how can we create like a just transitions that has been like a very important agenda with the iFOREST has been working on that. So how can we create that kind of integration with the industry people? That's something would be the future course of actions in terms
Yeah.
of
Because
the
we should definitely be working in coordination with everyone if we want to bring in solutions or identify a solution for that
Exactly.
problem. Yeah, yeah, correct.
so moving from cleaner fuels to like the fossil fuels to cleaner fuel, moving from fossil fuel or the transportation to the non-motorized transportations in the cycling, walking. This can be also been promoted by the industries in the industrial areas, plus neighborhood that can be thought so.
Right, right. Great. Mr. Ved, I want to understand from you. Sorry, this is the last question for you.
Please,
Like
please.
we spoke about creating awareness among the citizen groups, but I want to understand like media is a very strong platform. You know, the stories that come out from media, be in a regional language or English, it creates an impact. You know, the stories that you write, so what kind of stories, first of all, to create an understanding on how toxic air pollution is, what kind of health impacts are happening, and what kind of initiatives should the citizen themselves take first? So are there any kind of messaging that goes from your end, first? And second, is there any awareness creation programs for the media people themselves? Because I'm sure many journalists might not be able to differentiate what is PM 2.5, what is PM 10, what does NOx do, what does SOx do. So is there any program for media people as well?
I think that's the both the questions are quite important, and I think being a person associated with that fraternity, I must answer that. I think starting, with the first question, I believe. Indeed, definitely, and hands down across all the newspaper, all the media platforms at this point of in Nagpur, as far as my knowledge is concerned, I believe they are working uh, in their own powers, in their own limits. They're working for the betterment of the city in terms of pollution, in terms of AQI, in terms of dust mitigation, and whatever the programs are. So at the point it comes, it's not always the announcements of the schemes or announcement of the mitigation plans that the administration has placed is the only way to spread awareness. A lot of times, the scaring element is quite important. Like for example, a few days back, I think TOI itself has reported a news that Nagpur's AQI is 9 times worse than the WHO cap.
Okay.
So the point is, sometimes such alarming headlines work, as a awareness, for
Without
the public.
creating fear among the citizens.
It does. It does. Definitely, it does. And but of course, it is for the greater good, undoubtedly. Apart from that, I think talking about what the administration is doing, what actions they have taken on such contractors, or what notices have been issued, such kind of data statistical stories also play a key role. That across like 1,000 contractors in Nagpur, 99 faces or 999 faces consequences due to not adhering to the deadlines or not
Guidelines.
to the mitigations that were in place. So such kind of news articles also play a major role because I believe in a lot of times when you do a positive story on such, we might not get good reactions. But when we do stories like this, when Nagpur's AQI is 9 times worse, we definitely get concerned massive the next day that, sir, thank you so much for pointing this out. And I think we as a society should do something. And I still have a couple of NGOs and a few friends and few readers of mine who had texted me the very next day and a couple of calls as well. So I think such awareness programs are not just going on by TI, but of course, because I believe when it comes to environment, when it comes to city, I don't think we all are binded by our organizations. We are what we can say proud
Right.
citizens of Nagpur, and it is our duty to work for that. So I think speaking for everyone, it is indeed true that everyone is doing. They're taking efforts for the betterment of the city. Then coming to the second point, I think every press conference that we have, it indeed is a workshop of getting to know what exactly that concept is. Like for example, you asked about it might be about PM 2.5. What is particulate matter 10. So these are very basic things, I believe, and I do understand there might be some people who might not be aware of this, but the basic problem remains the same. That what is your agenda, what is your intent. So is it to distort something? Is it to make society a better place to live? Is it the city to be a better place to live? So I have attended such conferences where, as simple as what is the full form of PM, journalists are not worried to ask to the officer or to the concerned official sitting in front if we are unaware of it, because we are writing facts. So I have to be, at least, I have to be honest with myself with the fact that, okay, if I'm writing this, I should know what exactly it is.
Right.
Writing the AQS story, I had to make sure that each and every word that I'm writing, that I'm mentioning in this, I know the meaning of that particular word. And not only that, I have also talked to experts. So I believe, each and every story that we work on becomes a workshop in it itself. Apart from that as well, there are many other workshops. There are courses. A couple of my friends who are working in Bombay and Delhi, apart from being a journalist, they're also doing their masters in environmental communication.
Oh, brilliant.
Such things are also play a very key role, play a very important role. And I'll just add this one last point. I think this all will definitely change if we won't have EVS as an additional subject. You know, when our children, when the younger generation is studying, they have history, geography, maths as a compulsory subject, but we keep EVS, as a 20-mark additional subject. So I think, the seed is sown there. So we
Correct.
have to make sure that EVS itself becomes the very integral part of academia curriculum, or it becomes a very integral part of a person. Just like we are concerned about how much money I'm earning, we should
Mm.
also be concerned about the fact that how much
We are polluting to the environment.
in the environment. Exactly. So I think if we, make sure of these little things, and if you're just honest, with charity begins at home, as we say. So if that thing is started, I believe having a clean and green Nagpur, isn't that a big deal?
Yeah, just adding to what you said, in recently we were having a training program, and we keep hearing that the medical students, they are not taught about how air pollution is impacting their health and what type of initiative should be taken. It's not part of their curriculum, but they are, coming up with challenges where lungs are black and there are a lot of asthma and all these challenges. Similarly, during a training program, we heard that engineers are not taught in their curriculum how to reduce the dust emission that is happening on construction sites. So this is something that we will have to start inculcating in our, the study norms that we have in the country, and probably we will be able to make a dent in what we are doing currently. Thank you everyone for that candid discussion. It was really lovely talking to Dhanashri ma'am, Bhagwanji, and Mr. Ved. And good that you were able to join us. Thank you again.
Thank
Shweta,
you.
over to you.
Thank you so much, Pratima, for
Thank you, Pratima. Thank you, Bhagwan sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bhagwan sir,
Thank you so much,
I'll
Pratima.
yeah, I'll just like to add. Sir was asking like how many notices have you issued? So recently we issued around 50 notices to the RMCs in the district to
yeah, that's
comply
great.
with the guidelines.
That's great. That's great, and that gives little bit alert to the these sites as well. That's really
Yeah.
nice. Thanks for
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Pratima. We are open to questions. So, are there any questions from anyone? We can take it.
I don't see any questions. So yeah, I think the conversation was really clear.
Yeah, definitely it was. So thanks to all the panelists for taking out the time and engaging in this insightful discussions on Nagpur's air quality crisis. And the team at iFOREST remains committed to take this discussion and conversation forward. So we would be putting out this discussion on our website as well, for you to visit whenever you want. And from this conversation, we have several key takeaways from today's discussion, right from the database and seasonal trends to policy measures and awareness programs. We covered it all. So we will be back soon with episode 4 of Smog Tales, where we will spotlight air pollution crisis of Aurangabad. So stay tuned to know more. Thank you.